Hello, my name is Asher Chris, and my presentation is on narcotics abuse then and now. Introduction. Narcotics have changed over the centuries. They were first being used to treat people with illnesses and were added to foods and drinks. But now narcotics are being abused and used incorrectly. Thesis. Over the past centuries, narcotics have been discovered for recreational use, but are still being used in the right way to help patients every day. What is a narcotic? A narcotic is a drug that slows down the body's nervous system. Opium is the most common narcotic that is made from the opium poppy flower. Morphine and codeine are two narcotics that are used in pain medications. Most narcotics are used incorrectly more than correctly. The 19th century. Many narcotics were derived from across the seas and brought to America by traders, explorers, and fighters. Opium was brought over by the Chinese immigrants, and cocaine came from Germany. In the 19th century, opium was used to treat illnesses such as malaria and diphtheria. Morphine during the Civil War was used to help soldiers deal with the war. According to the USA drug policy in 1990, 100,000 to 500,000 people were addicted to narcotics. The types of people that were addicted during this time was usually the middle-aged, middle-class white woman. Some products that narcotics were used in would be soothing syrup for babies, maltine, which is a drink that has coca wine in it, and cocaine toothache drops. The 20th century. The Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906 prohibited any narcotic used in the making of food or drinks, and all products had to include a label with ingredients listed. The Harrison Narcotic Act of 1914 levied tax on narcotics and outlawed the sale and distribution of drugs. After these two acts, the addiction rate decreased in the 40s. During the 50s, 60s, and 70s, narcotic abuse drastically increased. One reason for this was some states lowered their drinking age and allowed people to experiment with drugs and alcohol. In 1971, Nixon declared his war on drugs. 40% of 18 to 21-year-olds used narcotics, while 10 to 15% of the Army troops were addicted to heroin. 20 to 35 of the troops were using it. During World War II, narcotics was the only thing that the soldiers could turn to clear their mind and ease their pain. Ronald Reagan declared his war on drugs in 1982 when Nancy Reagan came up with the "Just Say No" slogan for their campaign. After the campaign, narcotics abuse decreased from 22 to 10%. The 21st century. In 2001, 5 million Americans were addicted to narcotics. President Clinton and President Bush both had declared war on drugs, but both were unsuccessful with their actions. According to the Center of Disease Control, between 2004 and 2010, narcotic abuse increased 6%. Prescription narcotic drugs are the second most addictive drug in the United States, the first being heroin. According to the Center of Disease Control, they recorded that 20% of high school seniors had taken prescription drugs without a prescription from their doctor. There are several resources available to help you if you know someone who is addicted to narcotics. Conclusion. Narcotics abuse is a growing problem in the United States. The use of narcotics have changed over the centuries, but they are still being used to help people every day. Bibliography.